वेटिंग रूम खोल दो, तो अपनी अपनी कुर्सियां संभाल लो आप। एनोटेशन
मेरी तबीयत पहले
छोटा ये कर गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन, नमस्कार। आज हम अपनी स्टूडेंट्स के लिए जो वेबिनार सीरीज थी उसकी लास्ट वेबिनार करने जा रहे हैं, 5th वेबिनार। और इस वेबिनार में हम बात करेंगे अबाउट दी OMR शीट, और जो क्वेश्चंस क्वेरीज हमारे पास बहुत सारी आई हुई हैं उसको डिस्कस करेंगे। वी विल डिस्कस दी OMR शीट बिकॉज इट विल प्ले अ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल in your examination. You must understand how to answer the questions on the OMR sheet. Dear students, we have identified 5 students who have very actively participated in the webinars. 5 students को identify किया है जिन्होंने बहुत एक्टिव पार्टिसिपेशन दिखाई इन वेबिनार्स में, और हम उनको रिकॉग्नाइज करना चाहते हैं। वी विल बी सेंडिंग बाय कोरियर दिस लवली नोटबुक टू दोज 5 स्टूडेंट्स। सो प्रोग्राम के एंड में हम उनका नाम लेंगे, और उनसे रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे कि मेरी ईमेल आईडी के ऊपर अपना पोस्टल एड्रेस भेज दें ताकि हम ये उसको कोरियर कर सकें। आज वेबिनार में जैसे आप देख भी रहे हैं, हम 4 लोग हैं। मेरे लेफ्ट पर बैठे हैं मिस्टर राकेश खोसला, एन एमिनेंट ऑथर। मैं हूं CA डॉक्टर GS ग्रेवाल। मेरे राइट पर हैं रविंदर सिंह जी, who's a very senior teacher and very experienced teacher, और उनके राइट पर मिस्टर गौरव पालिया, again a very experienced and well known teacher. इनके बारे में तो ये मशहूर है कि इनके पास क्वेरी बाद में आती है, आंसर ये पहले कर देते हैं व्हाट्सएप के ऊपर। So we all welcome you and let us start today's program. In the beginning, we will start with OMR. We are going to share with you a PowerPoint presentation, and we will be discussing various questions that you may have in your mind. अगर आपका कोई क्वेश्चन उसमें आंसर नहीं होता है तो मैं आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि आप चैट बॉक्स में वो क्वेश्चन अपना डाल दें। I will request Mr. Budhi Rajaji to kindly share the PowerPoint presentation. तो PowerPoint presentation आपके सामने। OMR शीट्स पहली बार इस्तेमाल होने जा रही हैं एग्जामिनेशन में, मे भी पहली बार और आखिरी बार। अगर कोविड-19 खत्म हो गया तो आई थिंक we will come back to the old system of examining the student's knowledge. भाई आपसे रिक्वेस्ट है, ये जो आप ड्राइंग कर रहे हैं इसके ऊपर मत कीजिएगा. All everyone else gets disturbed. आप अपनी enjoyment के लिए बाकियों को मत प्रॉब्लम में डालिए. So OMR शीट का यूज में CBSE ने एक सर्कुलर भी निकाला, गाइड किया कि आपको OMR शीट कैसे इस्तेमाल करनी. इसके अलावा एक YouTube लिंक भी है CBSE का, वो हम आपसे शेयर करेंगे, उसको भी एक बार जरूर देखिएगा. पर ये सारा प्रेजेंटेशन OMR शीट के उसी लाइंस के ऊपर है. तो सबसे पहली चीज, you are supposed to use only black or blue ballpoint pen. Pencil is not to be used. पेंसिल का इस्तेमाल आप बिल्कुल नहीं करेंगे. अगर आपने कर लिया और उसको अनफेयर मीन्स के अंदर, आपका पेपर जो है वो इवैल्यूएट नहीं होगा. आपको माना जाएगा कि आपने अनफेयर यूज किया है इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स का. अब स्टूडेंट को कैसे आंसर करना है. अगर आपको पहले जो ऑप्शन क्वेश्चन के अंदर आपने चूज किया है उस सर्कल को डार्कन करना है. उसके बाद बॉक्स होगा 4 सर्कल्स के बाद. उस बॉक्स में चोजन अल्फा जो चोजन आपका टॉप वो है ऑप्शन, वो उसका नंबर लिखना होगा ABCD. उसके बाद एक और सर्कल है, उस सर्कल में आप उसको तभी डार्कन करेंगे अगर आपने उसको आंसर नहीं किया है उस क्वेश्चन को, और या फिर आप किसी क्वेश्चन को आंसर किया है, सपोज क्वेश्चन नंबर 10, और नाउ यू वांट टू आंसर क्वेश्चन नंबर 15 इंस्टेड ऑफ क्वेश्चन नंबर 10. तब आप लास्ट सर्कल you will darken it, and then on the 15th question you can answer. Remember, what option you write in the box, that will be taken as the final answer. बॉक्स के अंदर जो आंसर होगा वो फाइनल माना जाएगा, एग्जाम वो इवैल्यूएट होगा. और इसीलिए बॉक्स में चोजन ऑप्शन तभी लिखें जब आप श्योर हो. अदरवाइज डू नॉट राइट अनलेस until you are sure that the option you have chosen is the final option.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, if we don't write in the box, it will not be evaluated in the paper.
आप पहले पूरा presentation तो देखिए. Then you raise the question if that question is not answered. Okay? There are lots of questions.
Okay.
वो तो जो भी बंद करना पड़ेगा. वो आ रहा है यार. सर want to first see the presentation, and still if you are having any questions, you please ask. We are here to answer them. So unless or until you are sure that your chosen option is final, you should not be writing in the box, because the answer given in the box is the final answer. In case student will have to write the option selected in the box. In any case, you cannot leave the box unfilled. If you leave it unfilled, that means that it will be taken as if you have not answered the question. तो बड़ा ध्यान रखिए, सर्कल तो डाकन करना ही है और उसके बाद ऑप्शन उसमें लिखना है बॉक्स में, और बॉक्स में ऑप्शन तभी लिखिए जब आप 100% श्योर हैं, आप क्वेश्चन का आंसर नहीं बदलना चाहते, क्योंकि एक बार आपने उसमें लिख दिया तो उसके बाद आपके पास कोई चॉइस नहीं है। फिर आप यही कर सकते हो कि क्वेश्चन नंबर 10 ना आंसर करके 15 नंबर क्वेश्चन आंसर करें और वॉट एवर। सो बॉक्स के अंदर आप चोजन ऑप्शन तभी लिखिए जब आप श्योर हों। If the question is not answered, student will darken the circle after the box. ये मैंने आपको पहले कहा कि बॉक्स के बाद जो सर्कल है उसको डार्कन करना है। अगर इफ यू आर नॉट आंसरिंग, अगर आप आंसर नहीं कर रहे, ओएमआर की ये शीट का, ओएमआर शीट का ये पार्ट है, मोस्ट ऑफ द इंफॉर्मेशन विल बी प्री फिल्ड, पहले से ही फिल्ड होगी, और आपने सिर्फ ब्लैक या ब्लू बॉल पॉइंट पेन ही इस्तेमाल करना है और कोई नहीं, पेंसिल का इस्तेमाल बिल्कुल नहीं करना है। इस शीट के अंदर आपको क्वेश्चन पेपर का कोड लिखना पड़ेगा। यहां ये लाल इंक में हमने जो ऐड किया है, राइट क्वेश्चन पेपर कोड, तो क्वेश्चन पेपर कोड यहां पे लिखा जाएगा, बाकी सारा का सारा इंफॉर्मेशन प्री फिल्ड आएगी, और प्री फिल्ड को आपने सर्टिफाई भी करना है। ये लोअर पोर्शन है ओएमआर शीट का, यहां पर आपने लिखना है ओएमआर शीट के ऊपर जो लिखा हुआ है कि द अबव पर्टिकुलर्स आर ट्रू एंड करेक्ट, एंड देन यू साइन दिस पेपर, दिस पार्ट ऑफ द ओएमआर शीट। अब आता है क्वेश्चंस को कैसे आंसर करें। क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 में आपने ए चूज किया और ये आपका फाइनल है, फाइनल डिसीजन है, दिस दैट option A is the correct option. If you are sure about it, then you write in the box A. Otherwise, wait till the end, till you answer all the 45 questions. In question number 2, you have chosen C as the correct option, and you have by chance written B in the box. Your option B will be taken as your final answer, not option C. Whatever option you choose and write in the box, that is your final answer. Or if you are not answering, say question number 3, so you circle the last circle, darken the last circle. लास्ट सर्कल को आपने डार्कन करना है। फिर नेक्स्ट में आपने डी ऑप्शन चूज किया क्वेश्चन नंबर 4 में, और यहां पर आपने डी लिख दिया। ऐसे करके आपके पास 55 क्वेश्चंस होंगे, क्योंकि आपका जो होगा पार्ट 1, पार्ट 2, यही 2 ऑप्शंस नॉर्मली यूज होता है। पार्ट सी रिलेट्स टू कंप्यूटर, वो नहीं होता पार्ट 3। तो सीबीएसई की ये इंस्ट्रक्शंस हैं, जो क्वेश्चंस आप नहीं आंसर कर रहे, उसमें जो सर्कल बॉक्स के बाद है उसको डार्कन करना। एंड टोटल नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस दे हैव गिवन ऑन द शीट इज 60। तो 55 क्वेश्चंस तो होंगे ही हमारे के पास। तो मेरे अपनी ओपिनियन में, क्योंकि वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू आंसर क्वेश्चन नंबर 56 to 60, तो इनको भी डार्कन करने में कोई हर्ज नहीं है, लास्ट सर्कल आफ्टर द बॉक्स। अब कुछ क्वेश्चंस जो आपको और क्लैरिटी लेके आएंगे। इफ आई राइट if I have written the selected choice in the box and I want to change the selected option, how can I do it? अगर आपने dear students box के अंदर लिख दिया है according to the circular issued by CBSE, it cannot be changed. So that is why I am suggesting it should be written only after you are 100% sure that you want to choose, say, option C. Then only you write C there in the box. Otherwise, don't do it till the last. Here, if I fill the box with a chosen option and want to cancel this question and answer another question, how can I do that? आपने बॉक्स में लिख भी दिया क्वेश्चन नंबर से 4 ऑप्शन डी. अब आप कहते हैं मैं क्वेश्चन नंबर 4 को नहीं आंसर करना चाहता, मैं क्वेश्चन नंबर 13 को आंसर करना चाहता हूं. तो इस केस में आपको क्वेश्चन नंबर 4 के सामने जो बॉक्स के बाद सर्कल है उसको डार्कन करना है. दैट मीन्स यू हैव नॉट अटेम्प्टेड दिस क्वेश्चन नंबर 4. Then you answer question number 13. Remember, if you darken any circle which is after the box, it will mean that you have not attempted that question. So ये करने से आपका जो क्वेश्चन नंबर 4 कैंसिल हो गया और आप क्वेश्चन नंबर 13 को आंसर कर सकते हैं. ये एक इलस्ट्रेशन के थ्रू भी दिखा रहा हूं मैं आपको. अब इसमें देखें, आपने सपोज यू वांट टू चेंज द चोजन ऑप्शन ऑफ क्वेश्चन नंबर 1. क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 का आपने चूज किया ऑप्शन ए. अब आप कहते हैं जी मुझे क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 नहीं आंसर करना, बट इंस्टेड क्वेश्चन नंबर 16 आंसर करना. तो सबसे पहले आप बॉक्स के बाद जो सर्कल है उसको डार्कन करेंगे. हो गया डार्कन? दैट मीन्स नाउ यू हैव नॉट आंसर्ड दिस क्वेश्चन. And then you go to question number 16. वहां पर ऑप्शन डिसाइड करें कौन सा ऑप्शन आपने आंसर करना है, तो उसको उसके सर्कल को डार्कन करें. सपोज यू हैव चोजन ऑप्शन बी, तो उसके बाद आप बॉक्स के अंदर बी लिखेंगे. आई होप क्लियर है. आगे चलें. क्वेश्चन, the selected choice written in the box will be the final answer. Should I still darken the circle of the chosen option? CBSE कहता है कि सर्कल को डार्कन करना है और बॉक्स में चोजन ऑप्शन लिखनी है. एक बार आपने बॉक्स में चोजन ऑप्शन लिख दी, यू कैन नॉट चेंज इट, बट यस यू कैन कैंसल द क्वेश्चन. तो वो नौबत नहीं आनी चाहिए. You should not reach that situation that you cancel the question and answer another one. So darken the circle first. Wait till you decide that yes, the chosen option is correct or not correct. If it is, you are 100% sure that it is correct, then only write in the box. बड़ा important होगा time management. So we will discuss after this OMR sheet, we will discuss about the time management in the examination. Another question. Should I write the chosen option in the box as soon as I darken the circle for the chosen option, or should I wait? As we have discussed just now, my opinion is that you should wait. And you must manage your time, that you have 10 minutes to review your answers. 10 मिनट आपके पास हो आंसर्स को रिव्यू करने के लिए. उस समय आप बॉक्स में ऑप्शन को लिखिए, क्योंकि ऑप्शन एक बार बॉक्स में लिखा गया वो कैंसिल नहीं होगा. क्वेश्चन ही कैंसिल कर सकते हो आप. ओके, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. आई डार्कन द करेक्ट सर्कल फॉर द चोजन ऑप्शन, बट राइट अनदर ऑप्शन इन द बॉक्स. Whether darkened circle will be taken as the correct answer or option written in the box will be taken as the correct answer. डियर स्टूडेंट्स, हमने बार बार ये बात करी है कि बॉक्स के अंदर जो आप ऑप्शन लिख देंगे वो आपका फाइनल आंसर माना जाएगा। सर्कल को डार्कन करें या करना इसलिए इम्पोर्टेंट है क्योंकि जब आप अपना क्वेश्चन को पेपर को रिव्यू करेंगे उस समय आपको पता है आपने ऑप्शन बी करी है, अब नाउ you will concentrate whether the option B is correct or not. Only then you will write in the box. Another question. I understand that option written in the box will be taken as a final answer. Will it be correct to darken the circle of the chosen option and write the chosen option in the box with pencil and overwrite it with pen later? CBSE has very clearly stated use of pencil is not allowed. And the video which we are going to share the link of with you all, उसके अंदर CBSE ने बड़ा क्लियरली कहा कि जो पेंसिल यूज करेंगे वो अनफेयर मीन्स माना जाएगा. So don't use pencil at all. If you use a pencil, it will be taken as adopting unfair means to answer the questions. तो आपका क्वेश्चन पेपर ही कैंसिल हो जाएगा. So don't use the pencil. Okay. Another question, should I darken the circle relating to the questions of a part not answered? For example, I attempt part 1 and 2, but will not attempt part 3. Should I darken the circle of all the questions in part 3? There is no harm. I think if I was in your place, I would. क्योंकि CBSE ने कहा, questions that you have not answered, darken the last circle, the circle after the box. So students, ये थी presentation on OMR sheets. अब हम आपके questions भी हो, you can put it in the chat box. और chat box में डालेंगे, we will answer that. But before that, if any of the panelists have any questions or any observation about OMR sheet, they may please.
एक क्वेश्चन मेरे माइंड में ये बात आ रही है कि भी कई बार क्या होता है, स्टूडेंट क्या करेंगे कि OMR शीट में ना कोई भी ऑप्शन वो सिलेक्ट नहीं करेंगे और जो लास्ट का जो सर्कल है उसको भी डार्कन नहीं करेंगे.
ओके.
तो क्या ये क्वेश्चन उसके बारे में क्या होगा, अनअटेम्प्टेड माना जाएगा या क्या होगा उसमें?
अब देखिए फाइनल आंसर क्या है. इन माय ओपिनियन that CBSE says that box or the option written in the box is the final answer, and box is left blank.
Box is left blank. Yes.
So that means the student has not answered.
Even if he has not circled, darken the last circle.
Yes, I think.
For not attempt.
Gaurav?
Yes, sir. You rightly said. Good evening, all of you, dear students. As the sir explained it very clearly, that you have to write the correct option in the box. The link to that box is, you can say, it's a marked star on the top. So it's a star box. The last circle which you have to dark, if you don't want to attempt that question, you want to leave that question as unattempted, it's marked with hash. So star and hash. So these two are the two symbols which CBSE is using in your OMR sheet. Now, if the point is, if you have answered as suppose C and darken the circle C, and you have written C in the star column box also, it means till that you were very much sure that answer is C. But after going through the further questions and you realize that question number 16 is the better option and you are very much sure for this 16 question rather than the question 9 where you have marked C. So what you can do at the best is, for cancelling your answer of 9th, just mark the hash column. The question number with hash on 9th question, you have to darken it. It will clearly say that even if you have, as per you have attempted, but since you have darkened the hash column, it means it's an unattentive question. And then you can go for question number 16. Now, the very important point is, because it's an OMR sheet and you are attempting it for the first time, what we as a teachers can suggest you is, Grewal, so sorry, I'm calling you as a teacher. I'm so sorry, please. So because you are a mentor, but what I can suggest to them is, do take a printout of these OMR and fill it very carefully. Do it a lot of practice at home, just because of the two columns, that star column and the hash column, are just beside to each other. Maybe sometimes in a hurry, instead of marking in the star column or answering in the, you can say, main column of responses, if you dark the hash column, after that there is no repercussion. You can't go back. You can't strike off hash column that I want to attempt. No way to go back for that. So just mark those answers, those responses very clearly for once. And as sir said, that you should write the answers in the star column, that box, at the last moment only, when you are very much sure that this is my correct answer and I don't want to change. It's just like it's a question of crorepati for you and last question for you without any lifeline for you. So just realize this.
The question that has been logged.
Yes.
Yes.
So the answer that has been logged out.
Yes. I may also add that in part 1, section A, there are going to be 18 questions. 18 questions होंगे और 15 आंसर करने हैं. तो स्टूडेंट्स 15 से ऊपर आंसर मत करना. Answer only 15. CBSE has very clearly stated that student answering more than the maximum required, they will not be evaluated. तो आप 18 में से 15 क्वेश्चन वही करना जिनके बारे में आप 100% श्योर हो. 15 से 16 नंबर क्वेश्चन पे नहीं जाना. सिमिलरली इन सेक्शन बी, सो आपने 45 क्वेश्चन आंसर करने हैं तो 45 ही करने हैं, 46 नहीं करने.
So if I'm a student and giving this exam, in section A, I have to attempt 15 out of 18. And suppose I'm very much sure with 13 questions only. So I attempt 13. Now, out of remaining 5, I still can attempt 2, but
Yes.
I'm not sure with any of the answers in those 5 questions. Should I leave those 5 questions or should I attempt?
No, you must attempt. A student should not leave any question. अगर 15 आंसर करने हैं तो 15 करने हैं. अगर उसको 13 क्वेश्चंस का आंसर वो श्योर है और बाकी में नहीं, 2 के लिए वो श्योर नहीं है, मेक अ रीजंट गेस, क्योंकि नेगेटिव मार्किंग नहीं है. तो अगर आपका रीजंट गेस होगा तो आपका आंसर भी करेक्ट हो सकता है. तो छोड़ना नहीं है. मैंने जो मैक्सिमम क्वेश्चन उन्होंने बोले आंसर करने, वो जरूर करने हैं. अगर नेगेटिव मार्किंग होती, then yes, I would have said no, don't attempt it. But CBSE has very clearly stated that there will be no negative marking. So maximum number of questions must be attempted by us.
सर एक स्टूडेंट की क्वेरी आती है, जो बॉक्स है जिसमें हमने लिखना है स्टार मार्क बॉक्स, should I write the alphabets ABCD with in capital letters or small letters? What it should be?
I think it doesn't matter.
But whatever they write, it must
Yes.
be clearly readable.
Yes, it should be
means-
clearly readable.
Yes, that's the word thing. So whatever way you want to write, dear students, it must be written with blue or black ball pen. The very simple reason is don't carry pencil to the examination hall, because
Yes.
use of pencil in the OMR will make your case as unfair means use case. So don't take pencil to the examination hall. Just simply write ABCD, whatever you want to write with capital or small, but it must be clearly readable to the paper evaluators. They should not make any guess कि बच्चे ने C लिखा है या A लिखा है या B लिखा है. It must be clearly readable. Sir, you want to add anything?
ठीक है, बिल्कुल ठीक है. और एक चीज ये ध्यान रखना कि भी जैसे 2-3 पॉइंट आपने माइंड में रखने हैं कि आप जब भी कोई क्वेश्चन रीड करें और आप ये बात देखते हैं कि उस क्वेश्चन के बारे में आप श्योर हैं कि आप इसका आंसर जो है वो जो आपने चूज किया वो करेक्ट है. इफ यू आर 100% श्योर तो सर्कल को भी डार्क कर दें और ऑप्शन भी लिख दें. लेकिन अगर थोड़ा सा भी डाउट है, इवन इफ यू आर नॉट 100% श्योर, इवन 99% श्योर, अभी आप ऑप्शन में जो बॉक्स है उसमें आप ऑप्शन नहीं लिखें. सर्कल चाहे आपने डार्क कर दिया लेकिन ऑप्शन को लास्ट में फिल करें.
So there's a request for talking English also.
Okay.
My question, sir, suppose I'm reading question 1, I'm sure with the answer, I have attempted B. I just circle the B. I'm not writing the B in the star column. Question 2, I'm doubtful with that. I just leave it as of now. When I'm leaving this question as of now, should I dark the hash column right now or wait for the other questions to be read?
Yeah, I think students should wait because these two columns, star and hash column, I think should be filled by the student at the last. Because once you fill that up,
There's
you have
no way go back.
no way to go back.
But it's, sir, if I say that if the student is 100% sure about the answer,
Yes.
I don't think there will be any harm of writing
You
that
see,
answer
that
in the
is-
box.
Yes, Arvind, I agree with you. That is why I said don't write in the box unless until you are
We are
very
100%
sure.
If I wrote answer B in the star column
Okay.
and even darken the B, can I make it C in the box, sir? By striking off B, can I make it C?
No.
No, it should not be.
No.
So dear students, please note, it should not be. So what simply you can understand is, if you have darkened B, later on you want to change it to C, it can be changed only with the box, but you have to write C over there. You don't have to write B over there. It must not be written at the first go even. It means the answer written in the box should be treated as final, and there should not be no cutting, no overwriting in that answer. Am I right, sir?
Yes, absolutely.
Sir, some
Any
students,
question?
yes, sir.
Any questions?
Some students from ISC wants you to give some guidance for the same for OMR sheet for ISC students. So they are asking, will you consider same session for ISC students also?
We can.
Okay, dear students. So the
We
session
will,
can be conducted
okay.
for ISC students also very soon. Any other question?
Another issue
Hmm.
which I think students must understand is management of time
Yes.
in the examination. Because in 45 minutes, in 90 minutes, you have to answer 45 questions. And you must leave some time for review also.
I think here the students must use those 20 minutes, the reading time, very judiciously. It must be utilized in a very proper manner that those 20 minutes should be utilized, that you have to go through the case study also. You have to select which questions are very much sure, where you are very much sure with the answer, especially with the theory questions.
Where calculation is not required and
Some theory-based
I-
question.
I am of the view that I always say, read the question paper word by word. And you must invest 20 minutes in reading the question paper. Why I say invest? Because when we invest, we expect some returns. So invest those 20 minutes in reading the question paper word by word. At that very point of time, maybe for many questions, you have already formed the opinion whether option A is correct, B or C or D. Oswald ji, aap
Which one is the best? Simple.
time management के ऊपर, how should student, how
First,
will
to
you
attempt the
advise
easy question. First, easy question. You are very much sure about the answer. First, they should prefer those questions. Calculation required question should be taken at the last, and some confusing question that is also at the last.
So can we think that section A is bit on the easier side than section B?
No.
Is it so?
No, we can't say that. My opinion is no question is easy or tough.
Hmm.
We have to answer.
Hmm.
In the time management, what we have to see is that we answer the maximum question in the minimum time. So section A, if I was to give the exam, I will do section A first. Because 15 minutes, those section A is concept-based questions.
Hmm.
And in concept-based questions, answering becomes pretty simple and very, very less time consuming.
Hmm.
So I think 15 questions can be answered, and not if I go to the maximum, they can be answered in 15 minutes.
yes.
Yes.
Sir,
But I will say even lesser time.
I tell you one thing or more. No doubt the first portion is the simple, but the language should be read very
Yes,
carefully.
yes.
Yes.
This is a very important for a student. A language should read even a single word can change the answer.
Yes.
To and by simply,
Yes.
it will be change the answer. So in first,
Even, you see,
Yes.
even the use of words only, never,
Hmm.
none.
Hmm.
So these can change the answer. Even I will say even comma is important in the question, because comma can also change the answer. But yes, my point was in time management, these 15 questions should not take more than 1 minute a question. And that means 15 questions are answered in 15 minutes. And second portion, I will say give 2 minutes.
Again, 15 questions.
Again, 15 questions, 30 minutes. In 45 minutes, you have answered how many? 30 questions.
30 questions. So the meaning you have to answer only 15
Yes.
only.
And that will
Half
give
time
you,
still left.
yes, half a time still left. And
And why we are forgetting the section A is also there in part 2 also.
yes, yes.
It means the same level of question you will find in part 2 also, that is the analysis book.
Hmm.
So you also can save your time from section A. So what I feel is section A based questions are based mainly, you can say, remembering and understanding.
Yes.
So they just check your remembering power, understanding power. Understanding means the language reading questions ability.
Yes.
You have to read the question language very carefully. Just put a stress on each and every word given. As sir said, the difference between to and by. Machinery depreciated to, machinery depreciated by. These two will create a lot of difference in the answer.
Yes.
And,
So
and
there is
I
one
had-
question.
And I had one more thing. All the options should be read very carefully.
Yes.
There is a question from the teacher.
Hmm.
That the fixed capital account always shows.
Hmm.
Always shows. Is it a debit balance, credit balance, no balance, all of the above?
Hmm.
This is very interesting
Hmm.
question. A teacher asked me, if fixed capital account will show debit balance, no debit balance. The reason is all the losses will be adjusted through the current account.
Yes.
Now, the withdrawal or additional capital entry will be recorded in the fixed capital
only.
account. Second question, it may be nil. It
Yes.
may be nil.
Yes.
Second is also correct.
Mhm.
And third, no and debit balance. So,
If withdrawal of capital is
so these questions should be.
इसके साथ ऐसे ही एक और क्वेश्चन भी है ना, interest on capital is always debited to profit and loss appropriation account. So always changes the question altogether. It is not always debited to profit and loss appropriation account. It may be debited to profit and loss account if it is a charge.
So
So-
there is one question from students that during reading time of 20 minutes, can they mark answers in question paper?
No.
No.
Use of pen will be allowed or not?
No,
Will be allowed?
no.
Will not be allowed. So
It
that
will
means
not.
simply they have to read in that 20 minutes all the questions very carefully, and you may read the case study very carefully, and you may see which information is relevant and which one is not
Not
relevant.
So the question has come from a student. Can whitener be used
No.
to change the incorrect answer?
No.
No.
Should not be.
Should not.
It will be taken as use of unfairness.
You can use only black or blue ballpoint pen. So whitener is just out of question. Like pencil, use of pencil is out of question. Use of whitener is also out of
You
question.
answered next question. Can we use pencil? The answer is no. So question is, if I darkened option A for the first question and want to change that as option D, I'm just coming. Want to change that as option D, should I darken option D circle 2 along with the writing the option in box?
Yes, yes,
It should be.
yes.
Otherwise, even if they are not, you can say darkening D again, they just have to mention D in the star column.
Yes,
Even if you darken 2 or more than 2 circle, the option mentioned in the star box will be considered as final
yes,
answer.
yes. You see, why CBSE is saying you must darken the circle is probably because of the reason that during the review time, they should be reviewing whether they have chosen the correct option or not. And when they are very sure, only then they should write it in the box.
So the student has asked, sir, we find difficulty in time management in few questions.
You see, आप कहना चाहोगे मैं बोलूं?
The difficulty in some few questions.
You
So
can
it
say
is
the-
better. It is better
numericals.
to first attempt those questions which is require less time, and some confusing questions that may be attempt at the last. And moreover, in there is a more calculation or tough calculations. They should be attempted at the last.
So a good thing which CBSE has given to them is that use of rough sheet is allowed.
No,
It's a
rough
very
sheet
good
is
thing.
allowed.
Yes, it's a very good thing which CBSE has given to them, that they can ask for the rough sheet from the school.
Sure.
Wherever their center is, they can take a rough sheet. But the important point is you have to give the rough sheet back to the school itself.
There was a
Whenever you
question
have-
being asked also, will we get another sheet in paper in?
Yes, you will get rough sheet
Yes.
from the school. So it's a good
Is a
thing.
good sheet.
You can do all the calculations over in the rough
Rough
sheet.
sheet.
But you haven't mentioned which types of question you find difficulty, but there must be a certain pattern. Like, for example, you might find some difficulty in question based on shares. You might some question of difficulty in maybe question based on admission of partner. What I will suggest you, just practice the sample papers as much as you can. A very good thing is now you can attempt the practice paper, sample paper in just 90 minutes of time. Earlier it used to be 3 hours paper, which requires a lot of time. But now you can just take a paper, read the question for 20 minutes, attempt within 90 minutes. And believe me, it will help you a lot
Yes.
in this time management. Am I right, sir?
Getting your first
Absolutely.
20 minutes for the reading of the
Yes,
question
must be
paper
used.
will become the valuable investment.
Yes,
Will be affect your answers.
yes.
So it should be very
And
careful.
actually, difficulty level depends upon two types of questions. There may be direct questions or maybe indirect questions. Direct questions means forward questions, and indirect may be backward questions. Suppose in fundamental, profit for the year is given, net profit for the year is given, and you have to find out the amount of profit to be divided among partners. But there will be such kind of question which will be considered as backward question when divisible profit is given. Partner's salary, interest on capital that was to be provided, and you have to find out net profit for the year. So such kind of questions may be that may be considered as difficult one.
And moreover, when
It's not the question of difficult or easy, because examination questions will be from the syllabus itself. They cannot be outside the syllabus.
yes.
So everybody must have completed the syllabus. Only thing is that calculations may become lengthy. And since it is going to be 1 mark, less than 1 mark question, 0.889 marks question. So calculations also cannot be lengthy. They cannot be very lengthy that student consumes say 3 minutes or 4 minutes in a calculation. So every time they have kept is 2 minutes a question.
Yes.
So calculations also cannot be difficult or lengthy.
In sample paper, there is a change. Generally ask the question, calculate the interest on drawings. But in this paper, sample paper given by the
Interest on drawing is
CBSE,
given.
the interest on drawing is given. What will be the amount of the drawings?
It's a reverse question.
So that is reverse question.
And moreover, what is the total drawings during the year? What will be the quarterly drawings? So it depends, cross multiplication, you can solve easily. And now sometimes the call money is not given. What will be the call money per shares? These are the very interesting questions. So,
And the way to solve such kind of question will be write the simple formula,
simpler.
and the information will be taken as X, and then you will find out the value of X. That is a way.
The purpose of the such questions is that student has the analytical power.
Creativity.
Analytical
Yes,
power.
analytical power. Sorry.
So that means the purpose behind such questions, to my mind, is that instead of producing the accounting clerks, the CBSE wants to produce accountants who uses his ability, his knowledge to arrive at the situations, at the decisions. So these are what are called analytical questions.
Yes.
So such questions when we reverse calculations.
Yes.
So such question is, now you see, you particularly mentioned about CBSE question paper. What is the second and final call?
Yes.
Or they are given the amount which has not come. They have given the number of shares on which full amount has been received.
Yes.
So the question becomes very simple. The calls in area divided by the number of shares on which the calls has not been received. If I remember correctly, it's 97,500 shares, amount has been fully received, and 67,500 rupees have not been received on the remaining. So 1 lakh shares were issued. So that means on 2,500 shares, the amount is not received. So simply divide 67,500 by 2,500. So that gives you the answer.
And
You must be able to identify
Hmm.
what is the requirement of the
The
question.
question, yes.
What is the question asking you to answer, and do it in the minimum possible time with the minimum possible efforts.
sometimes the revaluation profit and losses are given in the question.
Yes.
And question may ask, what will be the revised value of the
Of a particular
furniture?
asset, yes.
What will be the original value of the furniture?
Yes.
These type of questions, I think it will create a more creativity and more understanding among the
And
students.
also to prepare for this, students should do the practical questions,
Yes.
numerical questions, and also do maximum MCQs and assertion reason based questions, so that proficiency comes to them.
Yes.
So a very good
And-
question has come by Mohit Kumar, and I'm sure this question must be in mind of many students. How can we utilize the remaining days to get 100% marks in accountants?
100% marks.
How to utilize the remaining days?
Remaining days.
Study,
sir,
study,
Study.
and hard work,
Yes.
maximum number of question solving,
Yes.
and be confident about yourself.
And there's
Always have it in mind, I can do it and I will do it.
And the correct way of practicing at this point of time is take sample paper, download the OMR sheet and practice on that OMR sheet.
Yeah.
So can we take some questions which have been received from through
कोई और
Gmail?
questions तो
Any
नहीं?
question
Sir,
from
एक
there?
question है.
Hmm.
Is reading time included in 90 minutes only?
No,
No,
that's
it's
extra.
separate. Yes.
That's extra.
Timeline we can discuss. Dear students, you will be getting the question paper at 11:10 a.m. From 11:10 a.m. till 11:30 a.m. It's the question paper reading time. From 11:30 a.m. till 1 p.m. That's a 1.5 hour, 90 minutes. It's the time which is given to you to solve the questions and attempt it on the OMR sheets. So this timeline is very important. Can we fill star box instead of darken the circle? I think they should darken the circle also.
They should.
They should darken the circle also.
We
because-
should not take any chances.
Yes, because as per the webinar conducted by CBSE, they were also of the opinion that the answer sheet, the OMR sheets, can be scanned also at the CBSE level.
Yes.
So it can be only scanned if you have darkened the circle.
And that is the reason they are saying black
Yes.
point or
Yes.
blue.
Arundhati, you can take up the questions. I will just take it out.
There is one question from Sweta Kohila. Respected sir, as we are the first batch to attend MCQ type board exams, I would really appreciate your opinion regarding the difficulty level of the question papers.
Difficulty level of the questions.
क्या नाम है?
Shweta Kohila.
Shweta, CBSE has already fixed the difficulty level of all the questions, but not now, but since long. So difficulty level of the question paper is about 25%. So 25% of the questions are likely to be on the higher level, and 75% question papers are going to be, I think, on the normal side. But anyway, Shweta, if you have done your syllabus well, you have practiced the question papers, then question paper in the main examination has to come from within the syllabus. So where is the difficulty level? To my mind, difficult word is extremely negative. The moment we think it is difficult, our mind stops taking positive signals. So just eliminate the word difficult from your dictionary. Nothing is difficult and nothing is impossible in this world. We have all seen how COVID suddenly struck us and how well all the teachers prepared for giving you online classes. And within no time, if everybody had thought that is very difficult or it is not possible, then we would have been in a very different situation. But I must congratulate all your teachers for taking all these pains to teach online. Do you think, Gaurav?
Yes, you're very right, sir. Because no one would have thought of that online teaching is possible 2-3 years back.
Yes.
But it has happened and happened very successfully. And believe me, dear students, it has made us learn a lot as far as technology is concerned. Am I right, Harinder sir? As a teacher, if we have learned a lot in this tough times.
और इसके पीछे एक ही था, I can do it,
Yes.
and I will do it.
Teachers and students both have worked very hard for teaching and learning process. So there are a few questions from Bhumika Krishna. First question is, on what basis do we decide which ratios, profitability, liquidity, activity, solvency, efficiency, primarily measure risk?
Risk factor. Risk that is primarily related to your revenue, cost, and I think that would be more related with the profitability ratio, like the gross profit ratio, net profit ratio, operating ratio. These are the related to the cost and revenue. So risk factor first is involved your cost as well as the revenue. But you can't say that profitability is the last criteria to judge the risk. Your risk is also depend on your utilization of the resources. If the organization utilize the resources, definitely that will reduce the risk level. So efficient ratio is also very important. These are the your inventory turnover ratios, debt collection period, debtors trade receivable turnover ratio. So these two are important ratio. And moreover, I think is risk show that also depend your liquidity also. Liquidity factor should also be considered. So risk show that is not also sole criteria to profitability. It all depends on the profitability, liquidity.
See, all the ratio was.
Yes, virtually all the ratios.
Actually, there are one or the other risk in every ratio.
Yes.
And actually, there will be risk of loss. So that is indicated by profitability ratio. Risk of non-payment of short-term obligations. So that is the liquidity ratios. Risk of payment of long-term liabilities. That involves the solvency ratios. So every ratio has some or the other risk.
See, risk means the danger situation. Profit or loss means profitability ratios. Risk means whether I will be able to make the payment of liabilities well in time. It means your obligations like solvency ratios, liquidity ratios. So these three ratios primarily measure the risk. Number one, profitability, liquidity for the short term, and the
efficiency.
Solvency for the long term.
Yes.
Okay.
Gaurav, next question is, why share allotment account is a liability?
Share allotment is not a liability, rather it's an asset. It's a short-term asset, you can say, just because of it's a contract signed between the company and the shareholder. It's an agreement between the company and the shareholder, where shareholder firstly, or you can say the general public has firstly applied for the shares, the company has allotted them the shares. So once the shares allotted, it becomes a contract between company and the shareholder. And now shareholder is liable to pay all the dues to the company whenever they ask for it. So when the company makes the allotment due, the shareholder becomes liable to the company to make the payment. So the share allotment means that shareholder becomes a debtor for the company. So share allotment is an asset, not a liability.
You see, as per the terms of issue, share allotment account is debited.
Yes.
That means that amount has to be received. And we allow them, say, 30 days to pay. It is a similar kind of situation when we sell goods on credit.
Yes.
With a 30-day period.
Yes.
At the point of sale, we book the sale and show the amount receivable from the debtor. And when we receive the amount, debtor is credited.
Yes.
So basically, the relationship between the debtor and creditor.
Yes.
First debtor, then creditor.
Yes.
Maybe Bhumika is thinking from shareholder's point of view. When he becomes due, that is the liability of the shareholder to pay the amount.
Yes.
But you see, accounting is always from the point of view of a company.
Yes.
The business entity concept which we teach in the class 11.
And now next question, I think Grewal sir will answer. Why bank deposits with more than 12 months maturities shown under cash and cash equivalent?
Okay, again by Bhumika.
Bhumika,
when we make deposits in the bank without any lien on it, lien means that I am free to use it. I can always encash or realize my fixed deposit before it becomes due. Only loss that I'll suffer is that I'll get less interest. So that is the reason it is shown as cash and cash equivalent. But suppose I take a fixed deposit of 10 lakh rupees and I give it as a deposit, as a earnest money in getting a contract as a security deposit. And that amount will become due only after the contract is completed. So in that case, I will not be able to use that fixed deposit. So in such fixed deposits will not be part of cash and cash equivalent.
Yes.
Another question from same Bhumika for Khosla sir. Why sale of scrap is shown under revenue from operation instead of other income by a non-financial company?
Sale of scrap, that is a routine process. What is the sale of scrap means? The part of the product which is not properly sellable, so it will be part of your revenues. So it should be credit to the income and expense, profit statement of profit and loss.
Statement of profit.
You see, say in a manufacturing concern, I may add, in a manufacturing concern, raw material is used and there is a normal wastage. It is part and parcel of the manufacturing process. So that normal wastage, it is sold as scrap. But how it has come into existence? Because of production being carried out. Sometimes packing material comes and raw material comes in a packed shape and packing material is sold. That is also part of the scrap because that raw material is being used for the purposes of production.
There is one MCQ question. There are certain transactions. Which of the following transaction will not affect the return on investment ratio, ROI? First transaction is purchase of machinery of rupees 10 lakh by issue of equity shares of rupees 10 each at par. The machinery has been purchased by issuing equity shares.
And
So will that affect return on investment ratio?
It will definitely.
Yes,
affect, because
definitely it
equity
will be
increase.
affected.
It means capital employed.
Capital employed will be increased.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
denominator will be increased
Yes.
in that issue.
So that will affect. Charging depreciation of rupees 25,000 on machinery.
Again, it's a loss for the organization. So equity, that is the profits will reduce. It will affect the capital employed. ROI will be affected.
And third is redemption of debenture by payment of rupees 2 lakh.
Redemption of debentures
Yes.
by payment of
Rupees 2 lakh.
in this. Redemption means now the capital employed will be reduced. Obviously,
no, sir.
Redemption of debentures on the due date.
Redemption, sorry.
Redemption on the due date. They were a part of current liability. They were not a part of your debts. So it was a current liability, current maturity of long-term debt. So your capital employed will remain unaffected. And the other account which is affected is bank balance or cash and cash equivalents, you can say, which is not a part of neither numerator nor denominator. It will not affect your return on investment.
You see, Schedule 3 of the Companies Act, it prescribes that any liability which is payable within 12 months or within the period of operating cycle from the date of balance sheet is to be shown as current liability. So debentures which are due for redemption, they are transferred from debt to current maturities of long-term debt and shown under current liabilities. That means my debt remains intact.
One more option was there actually. We have got the answer actually. D part is conversion of 9% debentures of rupees 1 lakh into 10% debentures of rupees 100 each at par. Bhumika, when debentures are being converted into debentures, so that means conversion when debentures which are being converted, that has been shown as current liability, current maturity of long-term borrowing. And now the debentures which have been issued now, that will become the part of capital employed. So that will definitely
Affect
change the
Affect.
ratio. From Bhumika, again, last question from her, and that is assertion reason based question. Assertion statement is sale of goods rupees 23,000 for cash will not affect the operating ratio. Sale of goods rupees 23,000 for cash will not affect the operating ratios. Reason is the revenue from operation and the cost of revenue from operation will increase by the same percentage.
Both assertion and reason both are correct.
You see, when we are giving the say in this case operating ratio, that means we are not talking of the absolute amounts. Ratio will remain same. That is the reason assertion is also correct, and reason is the correct explanation.
Revenue
of
and
the
cost,
assertion.
revenue and
And
cost both will increase.
Bhumika, we must say that you have raised very, very good questions. And we are really grateful that through your questions, so many other students have also gained.
So the question has come in the chat box. What does debts include? Only non-current liabilities or current liabilities or both?
Is it from Mr.
Debt, debt,
No. Debts. The term
debt.
debts.
debt means only the non-current liability. Total debt means the current liability.
Okay. So you have got the
But
answer,
you see,
Rahul?
in my view, we should not be using total debts. We should be using total outside liabilities. That's a better term and brings more clarity. Because student gets confused when we use the word debt
And total debt.
and total debts. They always think that it is total long-term
Yes,
borrowing,
yes.
long-term debts.
Will we get any rough sheet for calculation? Yes, answer
Yes,
is
they
yes.
want- yes.
Sir, I have seen in many papers, many areas that interest on capital will be credited to dash, and there are options. And out of the 4 options, the 2 are credited to partner's capital account and the credited to partner's current account. And if there is no other information, what we have to assume? What will be the answer?
You see, when no information is given,
We assume
whether the
fluctuating capital.
fluctuating
So when it's fluctuating capital, it will be credited to partner's capital only.
Yeah.
There are many students in the world who study very hard for the examination, but when they are, okay. Sir, I'm very sure that there are many students in the world who study very hard for the examination, but when they use the question, when they see the question paper, they would forget everything. Could you please motivate those students, sir?
Well, you see, what is examination? Examination is testing your knowledge and your time management. And your performance in this test depends on your concentration level. If your concentration level is high, your thinking will be in the right direction and concentrated thinking. So make sure that you do not lose your concentration. And for this, I always suggest do some meditation. Meditation brings back your concentration power. Even if in the examination you lose your concentration, just remember the Almighty for few minutes, say 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and you will find that your concentration has come back. And when your concentration has come back, you will be able to do your questions right. What do you say?
सर बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं. जिस समय अगर मैं हिंदी में भी थोड़ा बता दूं क्योंकि लोग हिंदी में भी सुन रहे होंगे, अगर कभी ऐसी दुविधा आ जाती है कि अब आप समझते हैं कि पेपर देखते कुछ भी नहीं ध्यान आ रहा है, तो फॉर द टाइमिंग थोड़े देर के लिए बिल्कुल चुपचाप बैठ जाइए, पानी वगैरह पीजिए और फिर पानी पीजिए और ऊपर अपने भगवान को या माँ सरस्वती को याद कीजिए. डेफिनेटली आप क्वेश्चन पेपर बहुत अच्छी तरीके से हल कर देंगे. ये आपका विश्वास है. जब तक आपके अंदर विश्वास नहीं आएगा तब तक आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते हैं. तो विश्वास को एक जागृत करने के लिए बहुत जरूरी है कि आपके अंदर एकाग्रता हो, कंसंट्रेशन हो, आप फॉर द टाइम भी थोड़ा आराम करें, फिर आप शुरू करें। और शुरू करते टाइम देखें कि जो क्वेश्चन आपको बहुत सिंपल लग रहा है, ठीक है, इस पे पूरा कॉन्फिडेंस है, उसको पहले करने की कोशिश करें। फिर देखिए आपकी लय एक बार पकड़नी शुरू हो जाएगी। तो जैसे वो बॉलर होता है ना क्रिकेट के अंदर, उसको जैसे एक पहली विकेट मिल जाती है तो अगली गेंद उसकी अपने आप ही टर्न लेनी शुरू कर जाती है। तो आप उस तरीके से पहला उस क्वेश्चन को लें जिसपे आपका पूरा विश्वास है, फिर आप देखिए आगे अपने आप ही हो जाएगा।
सर एक क्वेश्चन आया स्टूडेंट का, एंड आई एम श्योर मेनी ऑफ द स्टूडेंट विल बी थिंकिंग ऑन दीज लाइंस. What are the important topics we should cover in chapter issue of shares? So suppose a student is thinking for issue of shares, some might be asking for admission, some for fundamentals. Can we take some important topics? I don't think so.
No.
But just imagine you will getting 55 questions in a paper, and out of those 6-7 chapters, so hardly there will be any topic, any concept which will remain untouched. And this is the beauty of the CBSE sample paper also, if you see it. And whenever you see any good sample paper, you will see that hardly there will be any topic which will remain untouched. You can go through any sample paper, you can go through the Grewal conceptual learning app, where I think 3-4 papers have been uploaded.
Yes, 4 papers have been
And very soon we are
uploaded.
planning for one mock paper also.
Yes.
So you will be able to see a good level of paper over there for your practice. Sir, you want to add something for this?
I think it's a
Any
good-
important topics? I don't think so
No,
anymore, sir. No.
No.
All topics
All
are equally
topics are
important.
important.
Equally
Instead of all topic,
Hmm.
the student should concentrate on the important point of each topic.
Yes.
That is more important.
तो बच्चे important क्या है क्या नहीं है वो चीज छोड़ो. You have to go through each and every topic, each and every concept. You can't leave any topic unattended. आप ये नहीं सोच सकते कि 55 में से 5 ये वाले क्वेश्चन छोड़ दूंगा मैं. वो क्या बताओ 5 उसमें आए ना कोई और में आ जाए. तो you have to go through each and every topic.
और वैसे भी सिलेक्टिव स्टडी नहीं होनी चाहिए.
Yes.
It's not advisable at all.
The students are asking for the previous videos. So I request you please वो YouTube.
I have already given.
अच्छा YouTube channel का link sir.
I am sending again and again.
Thank you. Yes. Avindra sir.
So now there are certain questions from Vipul Singla, and first question that has
He is
already
also
been asked.
very active.
Very
participant.
active, very active participant. First question you have asked that has already been answered. What does total debts include? Only non-current liabilities or current or non-current liabilities both?
This we have just discussed.
Yes, we have discussed.
That we have already discussed that. But there are certain questions asked by Vipul, and one question is MCQ question, and that is related to calculation. And question is, Asha and Nisha are partners sharing profits in the ratio of 2:1.
It's a gifted point sir. Gifted CBSE paper. Yes, question.
ये देना।
And this we had in the earlier webinars, we have answered this question.
Answered this
Vipul, just remember there is no goodwill consideration for the share gifted.
Gifted.
There is no goodwill consideration for that. So in this question which you have discussed, which you have sent, no goodwill will be given to, no goodwill share will be given to the first partner Asha who is gifted.
No. There are 2 partners, Asha and Nisha. And Kashka is getting 1/4 share, out of which 1/8 was gifted by Asha.
Okay.
Remaining portion of this was gifted, taken by from the Nisha. It means Asha cannot claim for the goodwill, and she will, moreover, for this year, Nisha will not bring anything for goodwill.
Yes.
But whatever is the share of the Nisha, that will be 1/8.
Of 40,000.
New partner has to drop that goodwill,
Yes.
and the whole will be credited to the Nishas.
Nisha only.
Yani in simple words, only the Nisha will claim
The
for
goodwill.
the goodwill because she is sacrificing her shares.
Yes.
Asha is not sacrificing; she's gifting the some share of
Yes,
profit.
and she will get 5,000.
Yes.
So the answer will be rupees 5,000
To Nisha only.
Nisha only. Okay. Now, second question is related to
In fact, we
profit.
answered this question. He wanted some how, why
Yes.
in detail
Yes.
and the calculations.
And there is one question related to fundamentals. Abhay are partners sharing profit in the ratio 3:1. On 31st March 2021, firm's net profit is rupees 1,25,000. The partnership deed provided interest on capital to Abhay and Baldwin rupees 15,000 and rupees 10,000 respectively, and interest on drawing for the year amounted to rupees 6,000 from Abhay and 4,000 from Baldwin. Abhay is also entitled to commission at 10% of net divisible profits. Calculate profits to be transferred to partners' capital account.
Here,
I think a net profit is 1,25,000, interest on capital 25,000.
1 lakh.
So
plus
remaining
10,000.
profit is 1 lakh,
No,
and
sir, plus
interest on
10,000.
drawing. So 1,10,000 is the amount of profit.
After appropriations. After appropriation, before
And
that commission.
Now the main point, I think people want to ask that Abhay is also entitled to commission at 10% of net divisible profit.
divisible profit means,
Net divisible profit.
net divisible profit means, if finally
Yes.
credited to the partners, means after the adjustment of all the appropriations, this will be the divisible profit. The basic principle is the profit given plus interest on capital, plus interest on drawings minus interest on capital. Still, there is a requirement of the one item, that
Commission
is
to
the
the partner.
commission. So balancing figure includes the divisible
Commission.
profit as well as the
The commission.
commission. So that's why we have to take the 10 by 110. This is a simple principle.
Yes.
This will give you the commission. Remaining portion will be the divisible profit.
Yes, so the amount rupees 1 lakh will be the correct answer that will be divided among partners. And this next question related to assertion reason, and that is basically a numerical question. Where assertion statement, if current assets are rupees 5,25,000, including inventory of rupees 2 lakh. Inventory includes loose tools rupees 75,000 and working capital is rupees 2,25,000. Current ratio will be 1.83:1. But in reason statement, calculation has been given, solution has been given, where current assets have been taken after deducting loose tools, and that is very much correct. So whenever current ratio is to be calculated, loose tools are not to be taken as part of current assets.
Even
So
stores and spares.
out of total current assets, rupees 5,25,000, loose tools of rupees 75,000 were deducted, and net amount is rupees 4,50,000. That is correct, Andhra. Now, current liabilities have been calculated by using the formula current assets minus working capital. That is 5,25,000 minus 2,25,000. That is 3 lakh. Now, I think the point will be whether working capital includes loose tools or not. The working capital should include loose tools. So that correct formula has been used. So 5,25,000 total current assets and current liabilities of rupees 2,25,000 have been deducted, and net amount is rupees 3 lakh. Answer is 1.5:1. But in assertion statement, current ratio is 1.83:1, which is not correct. So calculation given in reason statement, that is very much correct. So the answer will be that assertion statement A is not correct, but reason statement is correct. So option D is correct. Next question again from Vipul, and that is related to accounting for shares. Pawan Hans Limited forfeited 40 shares of rupees 10 each, issued at a premium of 40% of Raj, who had applied for 48 shares. After having paid rupees 6, including rupees 2 premium, he did not pay allotment money of rupees 2, including rupee 1 premium. And on his subsequent failure to pay the first call rupees 3, including rupee 1 premium, his shares were forfeited. The amount to be credited to forfeited shares
Rupees 200. Just check out the calculation, Vipul. 48 shares have been applied for and rupees 6 have been paid on application. So total amount paid on application will be 288. This is what he has actually paid only. Out of this 288, the 80 rupees is devoted to the securities premium reserve of application on 40 shares only. So the remaining amount will be 208. Out of that 208, rupees 8 has already been, you can say, utilized towards premium of allotment also. That is very important. Rupees 8 has been utilized towards premium of allotment also. It means part premium has been paid of allotment. So the remaining amount forfeited will be rupees 200. I hope, Vipul, you must have got the calculation.
I think in this case, the premium paid, not paid on the allotment will be the 32.
Yes, yes,
32.
yes.
And out of
32
the
will be the
40,
unpaid premium.
8 is carry forward
Yes.
from the application.
40
premium
towards face
and-
value.
Yes.
Vipul, the principle is that once the securities premium amount has been received and credited to securities premium reserve account, it cannot be reversed on or cancelled at the time of forfeiture of shares.
This question is a part of our book, last question.
200 is the correct answer.
Yeah.
Yes. And again, one more question from Vipul. Yes. Mango Tree Limited issued 50,000 equity shares of rupees 10 each at par for subscription payable rupees 3 on application, rupees 4 on allotment, and rupees 3 on first and final call. It received applications for 1,45,000 equity shares. Applicants for 20,000 equity shares were refused allotment, and remaining applicants were allotted shares on pro rata basis. The amount that the company credits to calls in advance will be. I think in this question, the answer will be nil. The reason behind that is excess application money, if exceeding amount due on allotment, is refunded. But I don't think that will be calculated. But it has not been given that excess application money exceeding allotment to be adjusted in calls. So no amount can be adjusted in calls. So no amount will be created to calls in advance account. So D option, nil, is the correct answer. And now the last question from Vipul. And there's again a session reason based question. Forfeited shares may be reissued by the company on the terms that are different from the issue of shares.
Yes.
Reason, reissue of forfeited shares can be reissued at their nominal face value or at premium. So one statement is assertion statement, another is reason statement. So would you like-
One. Vipul, Mr.
Vipul,
Vipul,
let's go.
issue and reissue. These are the two separate issues. Share can be issued only at par.
Rhyme bana di, issue
Issue
and
and
reissue
reissue
are
are
separate.
Issue and reissue. One is the issue. Reissue is the sale of shares.
Yes.
Sale of share. Reissue is sale of share. Right. Share must be issued at par or at a premium. Maybe issued at a discount, but in the case of sweat equity share. But reissue, it can be sold at loss, at discount, at premium, at par. The important point is that whenever there is a reissue of shares, loss should not be exceeded whatever the amount you have received on the forfeited shares, excluding the security premium. This is the basic principle. So discount, it should not be exceeded whatever the amount is credited to the forfeited shares account. Vipulji, this is very important. In forfeited shares account, no part will be for the security premium. This is a part of the face value. So the basic principle, issue shares can be issued at par, at discount. So your assertion is forfeited shares may be issued by the company on the term that are, yes, certainly कर सकती है, ये उसका अपना विकल्प है, इस पे कोई रोक नहीं है उसके ऊपर, ये सेल कर रही है शेयर, वहां ऊपर रिस्ट्रिक्शंस है कंपनी के ऊपर, वो उनके अपनी सेपरेट है, दोनों सेपरेट इशू है. तो रीइश्यू शेयर भी forfeited can be issued at their nominal value or at premium, or even at premium नहीं, at discount also. So I think a reason जो है, that is not the correct. First, assertion is correct. Reason in the reissue share can be reissued at their nominal value or premium One thing more, it should be a
Discount
at
also.
discount also.
Absolutely. But थोड़ा ये मैं ask you a question है हम मैं आपसे क्वेश्चन पूछूं
वैसे सर
हाँ जी
पूछे
कि एक हमारे जो एग्जिस्टिंग शेयर्स हैं वो हैं ₹8 कॉल्ड एंड पेड अप forfeited शेयर्स को जब री इशू करें तो क्या कंपनी वो ₹10 के वो रख सकती है उसकी पेड अप वैल्यू
सर ऐसा है यहाँ एक में चीज है अगर वो कहता है रीइश्यू रेट है फुल्ली पेड
हाँ वही
फिर तो आप कर देंगे जी बीच का डिस्काउंट हो जाएगा फेस वैल्यू और
नहीं मेरा पर ये पूछना है
हाँ,
कि उसके पुराने शेयर्स जो हैं
हाँ,
वो ₹8 पेड है
पेड है ठीक है हाँ,
अब जो री इशू किए forfeited shares
हाँ,
can they have a paid up value of ₹10 or they will have a paid up value of ₹8
सर वो रीइश्यू तो बिल्कुल आपका सेल हो गया ना क्यों नहीं कर सकती है
हाँ
कर सकती है ये तो उसकी अपनी इच्छा है ये कोई इसमें दिक्कत है ही नहीं उसमें
That means partly called up shares can be reissued
yes.
as fully called up.
there it is not necessary that reissued shares are reissued with a paid up value of at the
Yes.
original shares.
यानी
But should not be less than that.
ये वो तो एक
should not be
condition
less.
है that is a basic condition है ना discount should not be yes
Trade payable always shown as current liability, whether it has to be paid after 12 months or within 12 months. Is it true or not?
after
12 months or within 12 months?
now one more criteria is operating cycle
That depends upon operating cycle.
yes.
If they are to be paid beyond 12 months or beyond operating cycle,
then it
they will not be a part of current liability.
it will be other current
Current assets.
Other non-current
Other
liabilities.
non-current
Other
assets.
non-current liabilities.
But if
You see-
nothing has been specified, assume that the operating cycle period of 12 months will be considered as criteria to decide.
You see now how it can be more than 12 months or more than the period of operating cycle. If the seller and the buyer, they agree that yes, I am selling these goods to you
Hmm.
for payment of which you will make after 36 months.
Hmm.
If both of them have agreed,
Yes.
the operating cycle is say 24 months.
Hmm.
So since it is falling beyond 24 months, it becomes a other non-current asset. अगर आप शेड्यूल 3 को डिटेल में देखें तो जब उसकी अदर करंट नॉन करंट एसेट्स की फर्दर डिटेलिंग है तो वहां पर ट्रेड रिसीवेबल्स भी आता है.
Yes. Sir, I know you have answered this, but please, can you please again tell us, please, sir, the difference between capital reserve and reserve capital?
बताओ.
capital reserve the reserve which is created out of the capital profits reserve capital that part of the example for example reissue of forfeited shares whatever is a gain that is a gain capital gain it should be transferred to the capital reserve. Second reserve capital that part of the capital which will be called during the process and at the time of the winding up. It cannot be called during the life of the company. It can be called at the time of winding up or when the process of winding up is continued.
Sir, if nothing is mentioned regarding the type of investment, then we should treat it as investment at trade investment or non-trade investment.
Depends. If it is for in the question of goodwill, valuation of goodwill, then nothing is mentioned except investment, then we have to take it as non-trade investments. But when we are calculating capital employed for the purposes of return on investment ratio, ROI, there if nothing is mentioned, it is taken as trade investment.
Just one more question, because many of the students have asking, sir, we are facing difficulty in assertion reason-based questions. Please guide us on that.
Very simple. Assertion and reason. First read the assertion, then read the reason. Now decide whether the assertion is correct or not, true or false. Reason is also true or false. If you feel it reason is true, but assertion is not correct, it means assertion is incorrect, but the reason is correct. It may be both are incorrect. For example, interest on partner loan should be debited to the P&L appropriation account. Assertion is wrong. Reason, it should be credited to the partner's capital account. Reason is also wrong. So always remember, read the question statement, assertion, as well as the reason carefully. There are 5 options. Assertion and reason both are correct, but a reason is not the correct explanation of the assertion. Second, maybe the correct. The third is assertion is correct, reason is wrong. Reason is correct, assertion is wrong, and moreover, both are incorrect. Only 5 है ना जी? These are the 5.
बिल्कुल.
सबसे बेस्ट इसका सॉल्यूशन यही है कि आपको पूरी उसकी बेस पता होनी चाहिए. जैसे यही अभी अभी मेरे किसी बच्चे ने पूछा कि फोर्फिटेड एंट्री इशू, बड़ा अच्छा एक क्वेश्चन मुझे लगा, तो वहां बताया कि ये दोनों की अलग अलग कंडीशंस है.
Actually, sir, students are finding difficulty where assertion and reason statement both are correct. Now they have to decide whether reason statement is correct explanation of A or not, assertion or not. They are finding it difficult in selecting these options.
सर उसके अंदर तो सबसे बेस्ट सॉल्यूशन तो ये होता है कि असर्शन को अगर वो पूरा सपोर्ट कर रहा है, देन इट इज करेक्ट. अब देखिए यहाँ पे दोनों एक क्वेश्चन देते हैं. इंटरेस्ट ऑन कैपिटल, interest on capital is debited to the P&L appropriation account. This is our reason. Being an appropriation account, being an appropriation of profit, it should be debited to the P&L appropriation account. कितना बढ़िया करेक्ट एक दूसरे के साथ रीजन आ रहा है. तो यहाँ कहते हैं कि both are
जो पॉइंट वहां पे रेस किया वो पॉइंट यहाँ पे रिपीट
हो रहा है
because के साथ assertion,
हाँ reason.
Dear student, what I can suggest you is read these 2 statements, assertion and reason, first of all as a separate statement. Check their correctness. Is assertion correct? Make it a mind. Okay, assertion is correct. Is reason correct as an individual statement? Make your mind. Yes, both are correct. And then you have to check between the 2. Assertion both correct and R is correct explanation of reason, assertion or not correct explanation. Then again read the assertion, and at the last of assertion, just put a word because and then read the reason.
Yes.
Because
Because
is a key word which will give you a hint that if you are asking because, is the reason supporting the assertion or not?
Yes.
If it is supporting, reason is correct explanation. If it is not supporting, it is not a correct explanation.
एक एग्जांपल और ले लेना.
Yes, sir.
Since we say a quick ratio is better than the current ratio for the checking of the liquidity. नीचे reason में पूछ दिया, since inventory and prepaid expenses are not the part of the quick assets. कितना बढ़िया उसकी explanation लगी है.
Yes.
तो उसको वो कितना support कर रहा है. लेकिन अब मैंने इसको थोड़ा हटाना होता, ये देखता कि quick ratio is better than the current ratio. और सब नीचे लिख देता current ratios या quick ratio measure the liquidity. वो इतना correct नहीं लग रहा है. वो उसके पीछे कितना जोर पड़ रहा है. Like while computing the trade receivable turnover ratio, provision for doubtful debt should not be deducted. नीचे reason में, the since here we are interested to judge the efficiency of the collection department. ये कितना उसको सपोर्ट कर रहा है. तो ये तो बेटे डिसीजन जो है आपको assertion, reasons बिल्कुल लगेंगे. कई ऐसे स्टेटमेंट बिल्कुल करेक्ट लग रही हैं, लेकिन कितना तालमेल उसकी कुंडली, जिसे मैं कहता हूँ कुंडली, उसके साथ कितनी मिलती है, वो आपको डिसाइड करना है.
So I'm taking the questions received through mail. There is one question from Sumedha Arora.
Again, a very active participant.
Very active participant.
Sumedha.
And question is, if total assets are rupees 3,50,000, total debts, these are three external debts, rupees 1 lakh, and current liabilities are rupees 50,000, debt equity ratio will be. Now, Sumedha, the formula to calculate debt equity ratio is long-term debts upon shareholder funds. Now, in this case, total assets are rupees 3,50,000 and total debts are rupees 1 lakh. From this equation, that shareholder funds is equal to total assets minus total debts, that will be rupees 2,50,000. So 2,50,000 is the amount of shareholder funds, and external debts are rupees 1 lakh and current liabilities are rupees 50,000. You have to take long-term debts, that will be calculated as 1 lakh minus 50,000, that will be 50,000. Now 50,000 is the amount of long-term debts and 2,50,000 is the amount of shareholder funds. Its answer should be 1:5 or 0.2:1. So this option is not given in any of these. So D answer is correct, none of these. I hope your doubt is clear.
Message.
So question is, which
Technical
are the
words, sir.
traditional classification of ratios?
Which are the?
Traditional classification
Yes,
of
yes,
ratios.
yes.
I think balance sheet ratios.
One is the income statement ratio, second the balance sheet ratio,
And third is
third is
composite.
combined.
Composite ratios. Yes. So question is, in the chapter goodwill, what is the difference between capital employed and net assets? These two terms have been used in super profits method and capitalization method. One is capital employed, other one is net assets
Capital employed and net asset.
in goodwill chapter.
Goodwill chapter, sir. हाँ, हाँ. Sir, ऐसा है. Net asset क्या है? Net asset, while computing the net asset, means the all assets excluding goodwill, fictitious asset, non-trade investment, right? Minus the outsider liability. This will be equal to your net assets. So net asset or capital employed, these are the two terms can be interchangeably.
Yes, for capital employed, the term used in valuation of goodwill,
Is
now
only
it's firm's capital.
Capital plus reserves.
Capital plus reserves
Partners
minus
capital plus accumulated
Yes,
gains, profits minus accumulated losses.
Yes.
It doesn't include the liabilities.
Right.
So goodwill will be minus obvious.
हाँ जी. The valued goodwill in the books. Appearing goodwill in the
Yes,
books.
yes.
ये रीजन है ना, गुडविल की तो वैल्यू हम कैलकुलेट कर रहे हैं, उसी को हम जोड़ रहे हैं. ये पहला लोगों ने हमसे पूछा था कई बार क्वेश्चन, उसे नहीं कभी भी लेते हैं. उसका रीजन पड़ा, सीधा इसकी वैल्यू निकालने से कैसे ले लेंगे?
Reserve capital is not a part of, not what is the keyword over here, not a part of. Option A, authorized capital. Option B, subscribed capital. Option C, unsubscribed capital. Option D, issued capital. Reserve capital is not a part of. Authorized का होता है सर?
That is a part of, not part of unsubscribed capital.
Unsubscribed capital.
Unsubscribed capital.
Okay.
Yes, unsubscribed.
There is one question again from Sumedha. Cross-sectional analysis involves the comparison of financial statements of an enterprise for 2 or more accounting periods.
Yes.
The comparison of financial statements of 2 or more enterprises for the same accounting period. The comparison of actual ratio of one firm with those of other similar firms belonging to the same industry, and none of them.
Cross-section analysis involves the comparison of financial statements of an enterprise for 2 or more accounting periods. The comparison of financial statements of 2 or more enterprise for the same accounting period.
Cross-sectional जो होगा, cross-sectional means basically inter-firm comparison हो जाए, और the industry average से हो जाए. वो जो question पूछ रहे हैं.
It means within the firm नहीं होगा. It will not be a vertical.
Cross-section तो हमेशा.
It will be between two firms.
Inter-firm or the industry average. But it's a good question.
Very good question. So next question. Sumedha
ने तो अच्छे question.
Sumedha questions are very good questions.
सुविधा कौन से स्कूल से?
Okay, there are some questions which were, I think, unanswered during the previous seminar, webinar. And question is from, I think, Mr. Vinod. Where is cash credit and bank overdraft shown in balance sheet?
Short-term borrowings. Short-term borrowings under current liabilities.
Next.
आप ये समझे ना कि it is the amount borrowed by the firm or the company and which is payable to the bank within the next 12 months or within the period of operating cycle. So it will be shown under current liabilities as short-term borrowings.
Next question is from Kritika. If bank loans are written in question, we consider it long-term or short-term borrowing?
By default, long term. I think.
By default,
long
long-term,
term.
because no information is given. Loan means loan for a longer time. If it was bank overdraft or
Then short.
cash credit,
Hmm.
that
Okay.
means it is only for 1 year max. So that will always be as current liabilities under short-term borrowings. But if nothing is mentioned, it is only written bank loan,
Hmm.
then you should take it as long-term borrowing.
So next question is that was unanswered during the previous webinar, and that was same by Sumedha, and that is very good question, sir. Very brilliant question. That is related to assertion reason statement. Assertion is surplus, that is statement of profit and loss is another name for statement of profit and loss. Reason, surplus, that is statement of profit and loss, is an item of balance sheet which shows accumulated profits or losses, whereas statement of profit and loss shows the net profit or net loss for the year. That is very good question.
Can you read the assertion again?
Assertion is surplus, that is statement of profit and loss, is another name for statement of profit and loss.
So this is incorrect.
That is incorrect.
Yes,
This
yes.
is incorrect.
Sumedha, assertion statement is incorrect, but your reason statement is very much correct.
Yes.
But these terms are not for their relevance for this term, because in statement of P&L, they only have to do till profits after tax. Number one. And this surplus term is utilized only for the creation of DRR. And that is also not a part of syllabus, not for term one, not even for term two. But yes, it's a good question,
It's a very
undoubtedly.
good question.
Very good, thoughtful, thought-provoking question. Yes.
That is very good question. Okay.
So Sumedha is the unanimous choice,
Yes,
number
yes.
one.
Good going, Sumedha. God bless you.
One more from Sumedha.
Great.
इस सुविधा ने अच्छी है.
Sir, securities deposits are presented in the balance sheet under which subhead? Security deposits are presented in the balance sheet under which subhead?
I take it as other non-current
Other
assets.
non-
Other non-current assets,
Yes.
because the time period is not mentioned over here. Number one, they cannot be a part of your C. Other means what? Any item which doesn't take part in any of the above mentioned. It's other.
Yes, it is
So
other.
it is other non-current because it's not a loan and advances. It's neither a part of, you can say, your fixed assets, your property, plant, equipments. It's not a part of that also. So it is a part of other non-current assets.
And one last question from Kashish, I think. In quick assets, spare tools include or not?
In quick asset,
Spare tools.
No.
no inventory is not included, so it means obviously it will not be included.
Stores and spares and loose tools, they are shown in inventories. And inventories are not part of quick assets, but even if when we are calculating current ratio,
Yes.
They are not.
there also loose tools and stores and spares are not to be included. Why? Because they are not meant for conversion into cash. And the purpose of calculating current ratio and quick ratio is to determine whether the enterprise will be able to meet its short-term financial obligations in time or not. So in both the cases, they are excluded.
So the question is there, profits before the incorporation of the company will be considered as capital profits. Is the statement true?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is true. Any other question?
I have one case study.
Okay,
So that is very long question. Should I read that?
we can wait for the questions if you want.
All of the questions have been answered.
Okay. There is one question. Machinery given in the balance sheet is rupees 40,000. If the value of machinery reflected in the balance sheet is overvalued by 1/3%,
1/3.
1/3. So 100 by 3%, 1/3. What will be the value of machinery to be shown in the new balance sheet?
30,000.
30,000. Overvalued by 30% means 1/3. So there is one more question. Ramu and Sonu were partners. Ramu and Somu are partners, and Shamu gifted some amount to the firm of Ramu and Somu. Shamu is the other person. Whether partner or not mentioned. Will that amount be distributed in their profit sharing ratio, or it will be their commissions? It's
You
a-
see, no, first of all, gifts are always from one individual to another individual.
Hmm.
It is never to a firm.
So won't be considered as business transaction.
So it is not a business. In fact, the person cannot gift any amount to the business. If it is for any reason, okay, let us assume that it is gifted. Then for the firm, it is a income,
Miscellaneous income.
miscellaneous income.
At the time of admission of a partner, what will be the effect of the following? Balance in WCR is rupees 20,000, and claim for workmen is 15,000.
Okay.
First option is rupees 5,000 credited to partner's capital account. Second option is 5,000 debited to partner's capital account. Third, 5,000 credited to revolution account. Fourth, 5,000 debited to revolution account.
Sir, repeat it again.
Partners capital account.
So 20,000 WCR balance is given and claim is 15,000.
Right.
The four options are there. 5,000 credited to partner's capital, 5,000 debited to partner's capital, 5,000 credited to revolution, 5,000 debited to revolution.
The basic principle is surplus of the reserve should be Berkman Company credited to the partner's capital account.
Another question? Yes. Under which heads does deposit of electricity shown? Deposit of electricity. Fixed assets, intangible assets,
Other non-current.
other current, trade receivables, non-current investments, long-term loans and advances, inventories. It's other non-current assets. Just like a security deposit, it is a part of other non-current assets. Let me check if anybody is left with the other students.
Should we discuss the case study?
Sir, there's one question. Penalty for delay in refunding application money is charged at the rate of first option 6%, second 5%, 15%, 20%. Is it relevant for the syllabus?
No,
Not relevant.
it is not allowed.
Not relevant for syllabus. But whatever it is, it must be mentioned in the prospectus. How to solve questions of increase or decrease? I think they want to ask for ratios.
Ratios.
Very simple. Say if the current ratio is 2:1, the best way is always presume take some figure.
Yes.
Let it be the current asset is 20,000.
And the same was said in the previous webinar also.
And 20,000 and current liability is 10,000.
Mm.
Now take the transaction and not just the effect on these two items.
This way, a student will never commit a mistake.
Yes.
Which type of HOTS question can come in exam? Can you give any example?
Any example?
HOTS question.
Hot questions.
Examination itself is very hard.
Dear students, there is nothing like HOTS in the examination. It's just simple one thing. If you have practiced good for the exam, you will feel all the questions as easy questions. If you're not well prepared for the exams, you might feel that the papers difficult and paper.
Then every question becomes hard.
Yes. So
Simple and difficult.
it's just like if you learn driving, and if you are very good in driving, you will feel that you can drive any car. But if you are very much worried about the driving, so you can't drive any car. So you have to practice a lot for it. It's all about practice. Virat Kohli, when goes for a batting in England in 2014, he failed miserably because he hadn't practiced at that time. But in 2018 and 19 tours, he got a lot of success. It's all because of practice. So I'm not saying you have got 4 or 5 years to practice for these people. You just have got 1 month with you. Utilize this time very judiciously, very fruitfully, and believe me, you can do miracles. Miracles in a positive terms, I'm saying.
So there is a question in relation to that. As you said, we should practice more. Should we practice a CBSE sample on web, or we should practice from an aid to accountancy?
Before sir answer, I answer you. You can practice
I
from
can't.
you practice from anywhere, bacha. But what I can suggest you is each and every paper must be there in your practice booklet. You can go through the Grewal conceptual learning app, download the papers from there. And I think, sir, I'm very much sure there are many 2,500, more than 2,500 questions are there just for
1,500 questions and
And
then 4 MTPs.
4 MTPs. And even we are expecting one
Yes.
mock paper this weekend. Are we expecting more papers in the future,
Yes,
sir?
they will keep on coming till the examination.
That's a good thing for you, dear students. What else you are waiting for? So you can get the papers with a click of, you can say just on your mobile phone, you can download the paper.
I've given the details in the chat
Great.
box.
So you can practice from there also. Otherwise, book is there with you.
And
Need to
A2
accountancy.
accountancy is I think it is a good book. It contains about 850 questions,
MC5 test paper.
including 5 model test
Model
papers.
test paper, one same.
And 3 model test papers and 1 has been uploaded. So that's quite a number, and covering all the
MCQ
topics,
is more than
all the
sufficient.
chapters, and in ratios alone, there are maybe more than 150 questions.
Great.
So I think from, as Mr. Gaurav has rightly said, from whatever source, you can get the questions, practice them. With the Grewal conceptual learning, you have the advantage that it is IT based.
So practice as
So
well as
anytime you can practice.
practice as well as understand. Question,
yes.
yes. Understanding is
You
also
see, in the app which Mr. Gaurav is talking about, you get the answers to the questions, why that particular option is correct.
Evaluation of yourself,
And
self-evaluation.
self-evaluation as to time management, as to knowledge.
So what is meant by partly paid up bonus shares?
Partly paid up bonus shares are never issued. Because what are bonus shares? Bonus shares is capitalizing the reserves and issuing shares in place of it. How can a company issue partly paid bonus shares, say 10 rupees share, 5 paid up? That means they are bounding me to pay 5 rupees. They cannot put on a liability onto me.
Partly paid bonus shares means actually there is one concept that shares which have already been issued and party called up, bonus can be given to convert partly paid partly paid shares into fully paid up. But there is no concept of issuing partly paid bonus shares. There is no concept like that.
One question for OMR. Is it mandatory to darken those circles that are not attempted? Like in case of hurry, we forget to darken those circles, the hash column circle. Is it mandatory?
Even they say you should, but if it is not darkened, it will be taken as not attempted.
No circle was darkened. Nothing has been written in star box. And if you have not mentioned that this question has not been attempted, it will be considered as not attempted.
But that's for your benefit, dear students, because it is. But if you have darkened the circle, the hash column circle, which you have not attempted, it will give you a clear picture that all the 55 boxes, all the 55 questions, the question paper strength of the paper have been answered by you either by the darkening the circle of the, you can say darkening the, writing the number answer in the star column or darkening the hash column. So it will give you a clear picture that you haven't left any question unread, unanswered. That's the main thing.
So there's a question asking, what is the date of the next class?
Before this session, I was requesting Grewal sir, and we all were discussing with this. Can we hold one more session? Yes, dear students, sir, can I? Yes, we can, but it is only possible if you need it. So if you need another session for your doubt clearing session, we can hold it. Sir, you want to say?
No problem.
We can hold it, you can say around 10th or 11th of December. Your accountancy paper is on 13th of December, that is Monday. So we can hold a session on either 11th or 10th so that you can ask your doubts, you can practice accounting. But dear students, don't just rely on this session. Practice hard, and whatever doubts you have got, make a list of those doubts. You can send the doubts to the given mail ID cagsgrewal@gmail.com?
Yes. I've already given this.
Yes.
Four,
So you
five.
can get the answers on that mail through that mail only. And if still you want that one more session is required, we are there at your service just for your benefits. Just the good wishes for you always. We want you to score good, not in this term only, in the next term also.
So listening this, people are started asking when we'll have a meeting for the ISC also.
Let me plan it out, and we will put it in the groups. Or what you can do is just follow me on Instagram. CAGS Grewal, we will post it there. So in the Instagram on CAGS Grewal, I will post the message. And because you see, holding a webinar is just not that tomorrow we can hold it. Lot of thoughts, they go behind it. And these 5 series webinar, this lot of thoughts went into it. And that is why each session was addressed by one particular person who worked on it very hard, keeping in view what the students' requirement is, where they are facing the difficulty, and accordingly they prepared it. And another person joined him to answer the queries. So give us some time, and certainly we will hold webinar for ISC.
Someone has asked if what if we don't have Insta?
It's very simple. You download the Instagram and open up your account.
Follow. You can follow. Yes, but I think the information will be sent to them through the WhatsApp group of the school.
Yes.
Because the information will be sent to your teachers through the WhatsApp groups, and your teachers will definitely forward the information to you as you have got this information. If you're not having Insta, how you got the information of this webinar? Through your teachers only. So you will get the same way of information in the future also for the future webinars.
So this is the last question.
Yes.
You can read it. 18,000 investment at cost is 2 lakh. What will be the effect on revaluation if market value of investment is given at 2,18,000?
Revaluation will be credited by rupees 18,000. See, value of investment is increasing. So if investment is rupees 2 lakh and it is increasing to rupees 2,18,000, so revaluation account will be credited by rupees 18,000, number one. And if there is any amount of investment fluctuation reserve or investment fluctuation fund given along with this, it will be credited to partners capital account. So there can be a question. Number one, investment is rupees 2 lakh. Investment fluctuation fund is rupees, let us suppose 20,000. Now the question says further, if the market value of investment is rupees 2,18,000, its effect will be first option, rupees 18,000 credited to revaluation account. And most of us, like me, will jump into, oh, A is correct. I will correct the mark the answer A. But second option B is no effect in revaluation account. It's an incorrect answer. Third is rupees 20,000 investment fluctuation fund will be distributed amongst the partners capital account. Some like me may also answer C. And the fourth option is both A and C. So students' answer is both A and C. Because 18,000, the increase in value of investment will be credited to the revaluation account. Rupees 20,000 existing IFF will be credited to partners capital account in old ratio. So don't jump into the answer just by looking at one option. Oh, this is the correct answer, and I am marking A. There might be all the above, both A and B, both A and C in the
basic
question.
principle is that.
And sir, Khosla sir, आपका बड़ा अच्छा question जो I always see. The balance of revaluation account can be.
The basic principle is that for workman compensation reserve or the investment fluctuation reserve, see the fluctuation, see the claim, then see the reserve. If the claim is less than reserve, obviously it will certainly affect only the partner's capital account. If there is some difference, more will be adjusted through the revaluation account. So two accounts will be affected. One is the revaluation account, other will be the workman compensation reserve. Same case will be the investment fluctuation reserve.
Yes.
So assertion and reason-based question, kindly please compare the difference between the market value and your investment fluctuations book value,
Hmm.
market value and book value, then see the reserve exist in the balance sheet and adjust up to that limit for reserve.
From IFR.
Remaining portion will be the revaluation. And in the reverse situation, it will be adjusted to the partner's capital. Compared to the partner's capital.
When you very rightly said, Gaurav, that students should not jump to the conclusion,
Yes.
read all the options.
Yes.
Same, I will say, go for the assertion reason based
Yes.
question.
Yes.
Because CBSE has used 5 type of options.
Hmm.
Although given in any given question, they have 4 options.
Yes.
But if we see the variety of options in all the assertion reason based, there are 5. And sometimes language is different. Somewhere it is written true, somewhere it is written wrong, somewhere it is written incorrect.
Hmm.
So I'll suggest in every type of question, whether normal MCQ or assertion reason based question, all the options must be read by you thoroughly.
So, sir, all are waiting for the 5 winners which you have declared in the beginning, which you said in the beginning.
I will not say the winners, everyone is a winner. But
The most active
participants, of course, unanimously the first choice is Sumedha Arora.
Very good, Sumedha. Very good.
And number 2 is Bhumika because of her excellent queries. Third, Vipul Singla, again a very active participant.
Yes.
And 4th one is Anirudh Nath.
Wow.
Hmm.
Great.
Yeah, of course, we did not have his queries, but in the earlier webinars, he had put in a lot of queries. And another is Ishan Swaminathan. I will request all of you to share your postal address on my email ID, and so that you will get this attractive notebook as a gift
Great.
in recognition of your active participation and quality participation.
Yes.
So as soon as you send your email ID, your postal address, I will courier it to you, and it on top of it, it will be all signed by all 4 of us.
Great.
So I think it will be a good collection material for you. So if there are no queries, then
So there are 3 for us.
Okay.
Please.
Yeah.
In continuation of this investment thing which you said, is she is having a continuation. Sir, if there is a loss and there is a IFR 2, then what would be the treatment?
Suppose investment is rupees 2 lakh. IFR is rupees 20,000. The loss in the value of investment up to the extent of 20,000. When I'm saying loss, it means the decrease in the market value as compared to the book value. So up to the extent of 20,000 will be covered up by the IFR. And if loss is beyond that 20,000, it will be debited to revaluation account. Let us suppose the market value is 1,75,000. So the actual decrease is 25,000. And for 25,000, we have got IFR of rupees 20. So 20,000 IFR will be covering up the loss of 20 only. Rupees 5,000, that is the excess of decrease in the investment beyond the IFR balance, will be debited to revaluation account.
Gaurav, maybe this question is related to this point that if investment fluctuation reserve is appearing in the liability side, and part of investments are sold at loss. Now, what was the treatment of loss in that case?
Part of the investment
Are sold at this point of time.
Now listen here. If the part of the investment is sold at a loss, it will only affect the revaluation account. The reason is that the investment reserve is created to adjust the book value and
Versus
the
the market
market
value.
value.
Yes.
Only for that. If there is any loss or the gain, it will not affect the investment fluctuation reserve.
So that these items are to be treated separately through revaluation.
Revaluation.
Investment fluctuation reserve will be separately divided among partners.
Revaluation. That's why we say revaluation account is an account. We show the revaluation of asset and reassessment of the
Yes.
liability.
Other question?
Quick one second question. Is flotation cost is a part of a preliminary expenses?
Flotation?
I
That
think
means
it-
Flotation
incorporating.
company.
Yes, it is part of the preliminary expense.
Under which head of
And
balance sheet?
remember, preliminary expenses are written off in the year they are incurred.
Yes, very first.
Under which head of balance sheet commitments are shown?
Commitments, you mean capital commitments, I believe.
Yeah, I suppose.
In capital commitments are not part of the balance sheet, but they are shown in the note to account. It is a disclosure.
Where are cumulative preference shares shown in the balance sheet?
They are part of
Not
share
part of share
capital.
capital.
Under which head of balance sheet marketable securities are shown? Current investment or cash and cash
Current
equivalents?
investment.
Current investments. Don't get confused between balance sheet and cash flow statement. You are asking the question relating to balance sheet, it will be shown in
Current investment.
current investments. But when you are preparing cash flow statement, it will be part of your cash and cash equivalents.
There's one question has been answered before, just quickly, they want an answer to be given again. Fixed capital always show debit balance, credit balance, no balance, all of these.
Fixed capital is always show debit balance, always. ये question अभी हुआ है.
Always show, huh? No, she wanted again,
Fixed capital always show debit balance, credit balance or no
no
balance.
balance.
Credit balance or no balance, both are the correct answer.
Okay.
Sir, when always is given, that means.
Always. Even there is always, so then it will
I
be
think,
Credit
see,
balance.
Credit-
what I feel is
credit
there is some,
balance.
No, this question is ambiguous.
ambiguous question.
Ambiguous.
but if the question is capital account can show
can show फिर तो then
Dash.
both.
either debit or credit,
Credit
even
or
zero balance, all the above was possible.
I think student has converted that question.
Hmm.
That interest on capital is always.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Is reserve capital shown in balance sheet?
No.
It is never, because it means reserve capital means those shares are partly called up and partly paid up. So under the share subscribed but not fully paid up, it is shown like say 10 rupees share, 2 rupees is the reserve capital. It will be shown at rupees 8.
And as subscribed but not fully paid.
Not fully paid up.
Reserve capital is not shown in the balance sheet.
So question is still coming. You want me to tell? Reserve capital is not a part of A, authorized capital, B, subscribed capitals.
Answer दे चुके हैं इसका, unsubscribed वाला दे चुके हैं, unsubscribed capital.
Then is capital reserve shown in balance sheet. She is continuing that.
Capital reserve is shown in balance sheet under the reserves and
Reserves
surplus.
and
Yes.
surplus.
ठीक है?
So we are well on time.
Yeah.
Thank you very much,
Thank
sir.
you very much.
Thank you.
And all the very best to all the students. Do well in your examination and just have the conviction I can do it and I will do it. On behalf of everyone, Mr. Gaurav Palia, Mr. Arvinder Singh, myself and Mr. Rakesh Khosla, I say thank you to all and wishing you all the very best. Thank you.